Hey guys, how's it going? I am Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup. So, we are going into Stage 4 of the Overwatch League Season 1. Stage 4. Dudes, this is the last stage. The last stage. Stage 4 will run from May the 16th to June the 17th. And will decide who we will see in the grand finals of the Overwatch League Season 1. Of course, we already know that one is already there, New York Excel. But it's time to look at what the other teams will have to compete across to get to those grand finals. Now, there have been a few patch issues. Obviously, we've got a lot of changes going into this stage. We all know about a girl called Brigitte Lindholm. We'll get onto that in a minute, but she will definitely be in Stage 4, obviously. But what sort of Brigitte are we going to see? What Hanzo are we going to see? And what nerfs and buffs are we going to see? According to some, there was a leak from Seagull, new Hanzo is not going to be in this stage. Which, I'm not keen on, to be quite honest, and I understand that the esports scenes have to run on a slightly older patch so that it's not too, off-putting for pros. The thing is, most of the pros play ladder anyway. Look at Prophet, Hagapan, Seagull, most of the Dallas Fuel team, let's be honest. Custer, a lot of them just stream. And they were playing on ladder anyway, so they know about the changes. So I don't really understand why we can't update it to the most recent patch. It will be a shame not to see Hanzo if it's not going to be in there, but they were apparently still consulting with the teams about what to put in there, because a lot of teams, once they were worried about Hanzo, they were worried about Brigitte. When Brigitte went live, and this is a patch that was live for 2 days. Just 2 days. But when Brigitte went live, she was hilariously OP, right? Then they nerfed the size of her stun, the effect radius of her stun, and pros are worried that if that's not in, then it'll be a joke with Brigitte, to be quite honest. But to be quite honest, who knows, because Brigitte's strong anyway. She hasn't got her... I don't think she's got a 50 reduction on her armor given during her ultimate nerf yet. Even on live. So this stage is going to be different for a lot of teams. The map pool also causes a lot of anxiety across teams, because some teams do better on maps than others. Some maps will be returning from Stage 3, some maps will be coming back from the earlier stages. Hybrid is what we start off with. It will be Blizzard World returning, or it will be King's Row. God, I love King's Row. It's nice to see that back in the map pool. Our Assault map will be Hanamura returning, or the home of the Slambulance, Horizon Lunar Colony, will be returning for our Assault maps for Stage 4. Control, the awkward home for London Spitfire. Lijiang Tower will be returning. I always love a bit of a Lijiang Tower. I think it's a good map. And Oasis is returning. It'll be a regular map this time instead of the tiebreaker map, which for London Spitfire I assume is quite good, because generally if you went to a 5th map with London Spitfire they were losing. Escort will be the final map, and it will be either Dorado or it will be Watchpoint Gibraltar. I love Dorado. I think Dorado is a fantastic map. This is the map pool. I don't know what the best 3 tiebreaker map is, so we'll see about that. I would assume some other control, maybe Nepal. Possibly Nepal? I can't think of another control map it would be. No, can't think of one. I think it'd be Nepal. So, that's the map pool. Right? we know that Brigitte is coming into this meta, right? And of course, Brigitte has changed the way competitive is played live across all ranks. We're seeing a lot more Reinhardt, we're seeing a lot more Zarya, we're seeing a lot less Winston, we're seeing more tankier comps, we're seeing more Junkrat to break down the tanks. If we see live Hanzo, then Hanzo will be seeing a lot more. You'll be seeing a lot less Genji, a lot less Tracer, probably. Although Tracer is still a much more viable pick than Genji, in my opinion. I think Genji just gets shut down completely with these comps. It's ridiculous for Genji, really. But especially looking at the maps, right? King's Row is Reinhardt's homeland. You know, when it comes to, it's one of the oldest maps in the game. It's built for Reinhardt, let's be honest. So we're going to see Reinhardt on there. You could honestly, I think you're going to see Reinhardt on a lot of these. I mean, we already saw Reinhardt on Oasis anyway, University. So it's going to be the stage for Reinhardt, I reckon. Unless the competitive esports meta is going to be significantly different to what we're seeing in competitive live. I doubt it. I doubt it. Brigitte's just going to shut Winstons and things like that down. It's also going to be the meta of armor. Obviously, as we know, we're getting some ridiculous, like, 500 HP tracers and stupid things like that, or 300, 400 HP Zens. Yeah, it's going to be a very weird stage. A very, very weird stage. And this is what worries me about not having a live Hanzo, because one thing live Hanzo does do a good job of, chunking through the big targets with his storm arrows. Chunking through shields, chunking through armoured targets. It's Hanzo's job. And whether... I mean, Scatter Arrow is still a very good ability and it will still one-shot a lot of people, but I think we need new Hanzo to kind of like bring it in line with what people are playing at home, because otherwise the Overwatch League seems out of touch with the actual game, and no one wants that, to be honest, do they? The devs don't want that, I'm sure. The players don't want it. The people watching don't want it. The commentators don't want it. The panelists don't want it. No one wants it, I don't think. Now, that's the meta discussion for Stage 4. Now we move on to player issues. One player issue. Effect. Effect took a lot of Stage 3 off because of issues with his play, his mental state, stuff like that. And this is a roughly translated tweet from Effect. I really think my life has failed. I've done all the bragging but accomplished nothing. I should really just die. Excuse me. I hope some of this is lost in translation, because that's not good. We don't want to hear stuff like that from players in the Overwatch League. The problem with Effect is he wears his heart on his shoulder. He is very passionate, and he's paying for the Dallas fuel. Of course, Dallas fuel is not exactly going for the best of spells, and it's going to, you know, really get to Effect. Let's be honest, at times Effect is carrying Dallas. I have no doubt that Dallas have some sort of system behind them to sort this sort of thing out, to help players with mental issues. The only problem with Dallas Fuel, in my respect, is their support system. They're always getting in trouble with their players. I'm not saying this is like Effect being a drama queen. It's not. It's not. I'm not saying that. But Dallas keep getting issues with their players, right? Whether it be disciplinary issues, health issues, they keep getting issues with their players, and Dallas need to sort this out, because they will never, ever be where they think they should be, or where we thought they should be at the start of this season, i.e. top half of the league, competing with those Korean teams, if they have these issues. They will always be down the bottom. I think Dallas Fuel Dallas Fuel can't reach the season playoffs. Stage 4 is the end for Dallas Fuel. Whether they put up a fight and get some money during that stage is up to them. But I think another benefit for Dallas Fuel is that if they can sort things out, this meta really, really favours them. Because Dallas Fuel like playing tankier comps. It could really, really be a good stage for Dallas Fuel. The problem is, Dallas Fuel will probably cock it up somehow. It's a shame. And from what I'm seeing in contenders, there's a lot of people who deserve places in the Overwatch League rather than Dallas Fuel team right now. Not saying that the players are individually bad, I'm just saying the way it's organised, I think there are other teams that would be much better in the league than Fuel, to be quite honest. But I suppose you could say the same for Shanghai, with their record. But okay, I'm starting to ramble. That's enough of that. Right. Let's refresh ourselves of the league standings. We have Excel on top. We have Boston in second, London in third, Seoul in fourth, Los Angeles in fifth, Philadelphia Fusion in sixth. That is your season playoff places as they stand. Just outside you have the Houston Outlaws and the Los Angeles Gladiators. The Shock are still within a chance, but they are quite a way off the pace right now. 3 teams out of it. In 10th you have Dallas Fuel, in 11th you have Florida Mayhem, and in 12th you have the Shanghai Dragons, all of which are out of the season playoffs. Stage 4 will be the last time we see them this season. Can they do anything? Can Shanghai get their first win? We'll see. New York Excel are the only team to be guaranteed a season playoff place right now. So New York Excel might do some experimenting this stage, but I'm sure they want to secure that top seed. In terms of how the playoffs will work, we've also had information on this. 6 teams obviously go through. The first place seed and the first place seed of each division, which in the Atlantic Division and the Pacific Division, one of them will be Seoul Dynasty right now, I think, and the other is definitely NYXL. I haven't got the standings for the divisions, which is quite annoying actually. If I look on Wikipedia, I can probably find it. Yeah, Seoul Dynasty are on top of the Pacific Division, and XL are on top of the Atlantic Division. XL are not going to be, don't think, are going to be usurped by Boston or London or anyone like that. Valiant could take that spot, or Gladiators could take that spot off of Seoul if they have a good stage. So we see about that, but again, teams that run a lot of dive are probably going to struggle at this stage, unless they can adapt to this new meta. It's I don't know, but that's how it stands at the moment. In terms of the playoffs, the end of season playoffs, we have the 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th place teams in the overall standings will play off in games, and they will be assigned seeds based on their regular season records. The quarterfinals, the 6th seed will play the 3rd seed, the 5th seed will play the 4th seed, and in the semi-finals the lowest seeded quarterfinals winner will face the 1st seed. And the highest seeded quarterfinals winner will face the 2nd seed. The winners of those matches will face off in the grand finals. $1 million on the line. The first place will get $1 million, the runner-up will get $400,000, the 3rd place will get $100,000, the 4th place will get $100,000, the 5th place will get $50,000, and the 6th place will get $50,000. A lot of money up for grabs. But at least if you get in those season playoffs, you know you're getting a bit of cash. Each series will be the best of 3 maps, or the best of 5. The first team to win 2 matches wins the series. The playoffs will take place from July the 11th to July the 21st. And the grand final will be held in New York, not in Burbank. Not in the Overwatch League studio. So how does that kind of impact at the moment? Well, Excel and Dynasty would have a bye through. Boston would play off against Fusion, and Spitfire would play off against Valiant. That's how I read it anyway. And then whoever wins that goes to play Excel and Dynasty. But of course that could all change this stage. Now we get on to the first week of Stage 4. Yes, it's here, baby. Right. Thursday, May the 17th. At midnight, we have the LA Gladiators taking on the San Francisco Shock. If the Gladiators want to take that top seed from Seoul Dynasty, they need to win these sorts of matches. I reckon this will be a Gladiators win, although it could be very, very close. Seoul Dynasty at 2 AM will take on the Valiant. This is actually a big, big game. Because if Valiant win this, Valiant will take the top seed in the division from Seoul Dynasty. Yes. Yes. That Pacific division is actually smacking wide open with the games for this week. So, it's a big game for Valiant and a big game for Seoul. Dallas Fuel will take on, at 4 AM, the Shanghai Dragons. I don't know whether Effect will be playing. If he isn't, and Shanghai play like they were playing at the end of last stage, this could very easily be Shanghai's first win. Who knows? Who knows? But Friday, May the 18th, we have the Boston Uprising taking on the Philadelphia Fusion at midnight. Boston Uprising, the wonder story of Stage 3. Can they do it again? I would worry for the Boston Uprising in this new meta if it goes through. They like their dive, Boston. They're very good at it. Can they adapt to like a Reinhardt, Zarya, Brigitte stodgy comp? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, Fusion will probably have the same issues anyway. Although Fraggy is a half-decent Reinhardt. Poco can play Zarya. But it's going to be a lot of adjusting for Fusion. They like dive. New York Excel will take on the Florida Mayhem at 2 AM. We wouldn't be surprised if New York Excel win this one. It'll be interesting to see how New York adapt to a new meta, if it's a lot of Reinhardt, Zarya, Brigitte. Maybe it won't be Excelsior's thing. Maybe Excelsior will have their worst stage. I doubt it. But hey, at 4 AM, you will have the Houston Outlaws taking on the London Spitfire. The London Spitfire badly need a good stage after their less than what we would expect from the London Spitfire in Stage 3. Finishing middle of the pack, you kind of expect London Spitfire to be like second or third. But historically, Houston Outlaws are a bogey team for the Spitfire. They have only beaten them once, and that was in a Stage 1 playoff semi-final. In the regular season, they haven't actually beaten the Outlaws. So, it's a big game for London. I would probably back a Houston win because of London's poor record against Houston. Saturday, May the 19th, you have the Dallas Fuel taking on the Los Angeles Gladiators. Oops. At midnight. This should be probably a Gladiators win because even with Effect, Fuel won't be able to compete, I wouldn't have thought. At 2 AM, you have the Boston Uprising taking on the Houston Outlaws. Oh, what a match. I would expect. Again, it depends on the meta. It heavily depends on how the meta pans out. If it is really heavy stodgy and Boston Uprising don't actually adapt to it very well, then this could easily be a Houston win and it could be a horrific stage for Boston. But I don't know. That's a difficult one to call, that one. Difficult one to call. At 4 AM, you have the San Francisco Shock taken on the Seoul Dynasty. Seoul Dynasty, I do actually worry about. Because they haven't been looking the best, right? And they're trying to flex Wu Jae-hong onto this main tank role. The problem with that is, yes, his Winston was decent. His Reinhardt, however, less so. So I'm wondering whether we'll see more Wu Jae-hong Reinhardt. I'm not sure. Or they'll see Miro back in or something. But I mean, I would assume Wu Jae-hong's been spotting up on his Reinhardt. If he wants to stay in this May tank role in this up-and-coming meta, because, geez, it's going to really change. At 9 PM, you have the Fusion taking on the Florida Mayhem. Again, this could be interesting, because fusion-like dive. If they don't adapt to this new meta well, then I think Florida have the capability in them to run this new meta, and it could get quite interesting. It could really get quite interesting. That could be a hard one to call. At 11 PM, you have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Valiant. Again, I would expect a Valiant win unless the Valiant badly adapt to the meta. But, again, all these teams have run dive for so long. There's a few teams that have, the adaptation in them. Excel, London, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Plus, have you got DPS that can adjust? Because the last game will be at 1 AM on Sunday, and that'll be London Spitfire taking on New York Excel, which should be an absolute cracker. I hope, and not like last stage, which was a 4-0 for Excel. Hopefully that should be a cracker of a match, and London should be back on form, because Birdwing is coming back after his wrist injury. Now, I think what's going to be crucial this stage will be if you have flexible tanks and flexible DPS. Your supports, Zen's always probably going to be there, Brigitte is generally a off-tank rather than a support. Well, that's what we've been seeing anyway. But also we've been seeing a lot of Brigitte, Zarya, Reinhardt. But if your DPS rely way too much on Genji Tracer, or rely a lot on Tracer, then it could be a difficult stage. If your DPS can flex to things like a Junkrat, a Pharah, Soldier, McCree, if you can adjust to that, then it should be an okay stage for you. We have seen a Striker adjust from his Tracer to his Junkrat at times for Boston. Has it looked as good? Yeah, he's been decent Junkrat. Can he play anything else but Junkrat and Tracer though? We'll have to see. London Spitfire though, with Birdwing and Prophet, and even Hureg who can play Pharah, they've got very adjustable DPS, very flexible DPS, and they should be okay. Effect. He relies a lot on this Tracer play, and he carries with his Tracer play, but can he carry with anything else? Can he carry with, say, have we seen Effects Junkrat? Have we seen Effects Soldier? We've seen Effects Widowmaker. But I've only ever seen him carry a game with Tracer. And that might not be as possible in this stage. Especially if a lot of teams run Brigitte, which we're expecting them to. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. A lot of discussion. We are going into the last stage of the Overwatch League Season 1. And it's about to get interesting. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next week. See you then.